Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday, November 30th meeting of the Plano West Rotary. We have a group here in person, and we have a group online, so welcome to the club. First thing I want to do is turn this over to our Sergeant of Arms. Steve, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Alex. Hope everybody enjoyed Thanksgiving and got their fair share of all the goodies that come on Thanksgiving Day. I'm having some trouble with my computer today. I'm about to get a new one. It won't let me use my camera, so my apologies. Let's get brags started. How about John Stafford? Do you want to start us off with a brag today?
So this week I have taught my teenager how to cook rice. And she has twice managed to make rice without overcooking, undercooking, or burning the rice. And it has been very edible. And so that's just one of those proud moments in a parent's life that it's like, okay, I will be able to send this child out into the world and she won't be starving when she gets out there.
That's great. I love it. How about Clevie? Do you want to brag today?
You're muted, Clevie.
Clevie, you're muted.
Sorry. Okay, I was just talking away. Okay, so with today being Giving Tuesday, I found out that I could donate to Plano West Rotary Club and have my company match it. However, I clicked the wrong one, so I hope somebody can help me figure out how to get the money from Plano East and give it to us. I'm still waiting to see if it can get fixed on Raytheon's end, but I found out that through Raytheon, through my payroll deduction, if I want it, I can have donated and matched up to $24,000 from my company to Plano West every year. Like, that's free. I didn't even know that. I don't know why I'm so dorky, but yeah, easy. So I'm happy, but that's all. I gotta fix it.
Okay, thanks. Andrea Thompson, would you like to brag?
Sure, love to brag. And I'm gonna go work where Clevie works, I think.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited this week. My niece and nephew live in Frisco, and she's actually a volleyball player at TWU and just finished her second season with them and did awesome. And my nephew just made it to the third round of the high school football playoffs with Frisco Wakeland, where they sadly got defeated, but that's the furthest his school has ever made it. So on top of that, though, they're both straight A students. So that's actually more exciting. So happy to have some smart, successful athletic kids in my family.
Yes, congratulations. James Thomas, you got any words of wisdom today?
No words of wisdom, but I would like to brag. Judge Thompson, I heard I just came in on something about Wakeland. This past Thanksgiving, I did meet with one of my former colleagues who played college football with me back in the old days, long before everyone was born on this scenario. But his son-in-law won soccer a year or two ago at Wakeland. And Wakeland actually Justin Wakeland attended my funeral. He was my principal when he was in Plano, Texas, years ago. So,
oh, wow, yeah, that's super cool.
Absolutely know Justin Wakeland. He knew me pretty well. But I do want to brag about how amazingly wonderful the citizens of Collin County and Plano are, in the sense that for Thanksgiving Day, the day before Thanksgiving, my lovely wife wanted me to go pick up some food. And so I went by Walmart and I was standing out there talking on the phone, and this older lady walked out of Walmart while I was standing there, and she just said, "Sir, I'll take care of you in a minute." And I looked, I'm thinking, what is she saying? And why is she saying this to me? She said, "1 minute." And I said, "Miss," and I hung my phone up, and she opened her purse and pulled out her wallet. And she said, "I got you, sir. And I said, what? And I looked, and apparently I was standing at a kiosk from Salvation Army. So she was making a donation to me. She was making a donation to me. I said, no, miss. I said, no, I'm not the one, miss. I said, no, I'm not with Salvation Army tonight. She said, so I don't need to donate anything. I said, no, you don't. Immediately, after clearing that up, I didn't even go in the store. I went home and I shaved and grew my hair up because I looked so awful at that time. I learned my lesson, but I say all of that to say this, how absolutely amazing it is to have people with that giving spirit, that giving heart, and that makes a difference. I love being in this area. Thank you for that opportunity.
That's awesome. Alex, are we good to 12:15?
12:10.
12:10. Okay, great. LaShawn, do you want to do any bragging today?
There we go. I don't have a brag, but I'm just tickled to be here. Glad to see y'all.
Yeah.
I want to know where you're at, LaShawn.
I'm in Nacogdoches. This is my last Tuesday in Nacogdoches, and tomorrow will be my last Wednesday and last day in Nacogdoches. So coming home.
Awesome. Glenn Thornton, do you want to brag?
Sure. You can see me because I'm running the computer over here, but trust me, I'm here. I'll brag about this Thanksgiving. We had kids up, we had grandkids, we had food that I'm still eating and enjoying. I don't know how much longer I can take that, but it's going so far so good. But it was, and actually I should clarify, our main Thanksgiving was Saturday. So that's not like Thursday to today. It's like only 3 or 4 days, but still. But a great time, great to see everybody. So thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Kayla Stovall, would you like to brag?
Hi, everyone. I like to brag that I'm here because I haven't been to a meeting in a long time. So I'm glad that I caught up with work, and I had a wonderful fall break. We were off all last week since I work in the school. So I'm glad to be back. And I'm also want to brag on everyone who is helping with putting together the Christmas get together or the winter get together this coming Sunday. I'm excited to meet some of you I haven't met yet and see you in person. So.
Yes, it's a good time to mention to everybody that Gary Busing's hosting the Christmas party. I'm sure Alex will have more details. Tom Posey, would you like to brag? You're muted, Tom. Okay. Susan Glenn, would you like to brag?
Hey, well, I don't know about bragging, but I'd like to say hello. It's nice to visit Plano West. I'm a member of the Fort Worth Rotary Club, but I live in Plano, so go figure that. My company has an office in Fort Worth, and I've been part of the Rotary Fort Worth for 3 years. Love it. And I'm also on the Veterans and Military Committee, so I'll brag on them. We did some pantry deliveries last weekend before Thanksgiving, Meals on Wheels to veterans in Fort Worth and Tarrant County. So that was really fun. But I'm glad to be here. Nice to meet you all.
Welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Turn it over to you, Alex.
Hey, thank you, Steve. I'm going to throw out a different brag. I went 3 weeks without running a meeting after 22 months. It was a well-needed break from a weekly meeting. So that's nice. And it's cool to be here. This is the first time I've been here, and I'm glad. I think we have 8 people here. I think we have, I don't know how many online. It's hard to figure out. 14 online. So I do want to encourage people to come to Norma's Cafe. It's on 15th Street. It's a great location, and we have a gracious host. And I want to really thank Glenn and his committee for searching, finding, evaluating. And I also want to give a special note of thanks to Joanna. she is running our Zoom for the first time today. She got trained over the last, I don't know, few days. So yay, Joanna. So everybody give her thanks for being our Zoom operator. No. If you don't thank her, we're going to make you do it next week. So thank her. So what I'm going to do now is, bear with me, trying to run this from here as opposed to my 3-monitor setup when I do this from home. But I am going to turn this over to Clevie. Wait 1 second here. For, screen sharing this failed. Let's try this again.
Am I live?
Yeah, I'm not doing it. So bear with me. Let me see.
Okay.
Go for it, Clevie.
Very nice. Okay, let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father and great Creator, give us the patience to be compassionate and helpful towards others and ourselves, and to know when it's best to remain quiet. Give us the clarity to be grateful for all that we have, and to realize when we have something to give to others. Give us the capacity to love and forgive others, especially those who have wronged us, and give us the serenity to find happiness and peace in each day. Also enable us to have those same capabilities in bringing peace and love to our community, helping those in needs, our country, and keeping those safe. In this we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Clevie.
You bet.
We're going to turn it over to LaShawn Ross to lead us in the pledge.
You join me, please, with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, LaShawn. All right, what I'm going to do now is talk about the Rotary Foundation. It's going to be hard to do this and have the mic. We actually, Rotary Foundation has annual awards. Oh, you're going to be my van of light? Good, Catherine's going to be my van of light. And our club won a lot of awards. So the first one, we did a significant contribution to End Polio Now. Can you guys see it? I don't know what you can see. Cool. So we got a certificate for it. And actually, we were number 2 in the district. Oh, can't see it? Oh, because of the background? Yeah. For per capita giving. I think we have to put it closer to the camera. Stand over here? Yeah, maybe that way. Oh, over here, yeah. There we go. Over there? There's. And then also, this is going backwards. We also won the Everitarian Every Year Club, and that meant everybody in our club, as of the members as of July 1st of 2020, donated at least $100 to the Rotary Foundation. And then we also won 100% foundation giving, meaning everybody in our club gave to the foundation. And then lastly, we were number 1 in the district for per capita annual fund giving. What that means is giving towards the foundation on a per member basis. So great job, everybody. I found out that we are only one of 4 Rotary clubs in our district to get all 4 awards. The other one was the Rotary Club of Rowlett. So you guys are awesome, as usual. And we also were approved for a district grant. I think we got that email a week or 2 ago. And so that means, because last year, what is that? The previous year, we donated at least $120 per capita, which qualifies us for a district grant for last year. So we applied and we got approved. And we use our district grant, as you guys probably know, because we've talked about it a lot, for Camp Ryla, which Fred Beemendorfer is our Camp Ryla king. And then we also, for a scholarship program, of which the host of our holiday party, Gary Busey, has been that chair for, 20 years at least. And so, so we got approved for both of those. And as everybody may not remember, We used the district grants from the Rotary Foundation for the Camp Ryla. Then we also used the difference towards the scholarship program. Because even though we sell pecans actually don't cover everything necessary for the scholarship levels. In fact, I think it was 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, when Glenn Horton started getting our club to apply for a district grant, with that additional money, allowed us to basically double the size of our scholarships from 1,000 to 2,000 each. And we have, I think, 3 of our scholarship winners that were in high school that are now in our club. One is Kayla Stovall. She got a scholarship many years ago, not that many years ago, but it was more than 3. And then we had Bianca Weimer that got it 2 years ago, and then Julia Lynn received it last year. So it's pretty awesome with our scholarships, rewarding students that give to the community, that participate in Rotary service, and then they join us afterwards, which just says a lot about everybody in our club and the fact that you're making our club inclusive to everybody from all ages. And so go Plano West Rotary. So with that said, this year we have kind of a concern. As I mentioned, as to qualify for a district grant, we have to donate $120 per capita per member. Well, because we tripled our membership from 21 to 63, the number of overall donations we have to give tripled. So we basically need to donate $7,560 towards the annual fund in order for us to qualify for a Tier 1 district grant next year. So we're basically paving the way for next year Rotary Club. Well, we are short. We're only at, I think I wrote the, okay. And so our district grant's about 3,500 of the 6,000 we need for the scholarships. And so as I see in the slide, our pecans only net about $3,500 after we sell it all. And so that's why we need the district grant from the Rotary Foundation in order to be able to scale up our scholarship program, which are two $2,000 scholarships. Well, this year, we're short of what we need. We're short $3,285. So what that means is if our club doesn't either self-fundraise and donate it to the Rotary Foundation, or club members don't give to the Rotary Foundation, we're not going to qualify for a district grant for next year. Well, there's other tiers. So instead of getting $3,500, we'll get, I don't know, what is it? 2,000. It's a different amount. And so this is what I'm asking for the club. One, if every member donates $120, that's it. I mean, that makes it real easy. So if you haven't donated to the Rotary Foundation, donate $120. We need to have it done by June 30th. Or the other option is we do some fundraisers for the Rotary Foundation, which is kind of a no-brainer. We are Rotary. Most nonprofits fundraise for their charity, and so that's my ask to the club. Either individually donate $120, and you know it's all over the website how to do it, or contact our new foundation chair. He put his hand up. Woo! It's official. Patrick Cope is our new foundation chair. Yay! We've been kind of working on it for the last month, so I finally got this yes. It's kind of like when you ask somebody to marry you and they say no. What are you asking in public for? So I was taking that risk here. So contact Patrick, who's supported by a team. He's got Glenn, Joy, other people on the committee. We need those donations. So that's my big foundation moment. So, we have somebody else joining. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our membership, Roxana, who's going to do our membership moment.
I'm going to try to do this, Roxana, but I may not make it.
That's okay.
Okay.
Well, welcome to our membership moment. In today's very, very special day, because today we are gonna congratulate our members that have anniversary this year.
Just a second now.
This month.
Calm down. I'm getting it.
So we are very, very proud to have you. And so So Clarence Gilmore. Clarence has been with Rotary 27 years. Happy anniversary, Clarence. Alex. Oh. Alex is 18 years.
Wow.
This month in November.
I can't get the share screen thing.
Congratulations. Glenn.
Oh, wow.
You are 10 years.
10 years.
Yes.
Oh, you were supposed to turn it over to me. That's what it was.
And Taha Kalilula, he's 1 year.
Yeah, you were supposed to turn that over to me.
This month. And so we hope that you keep up the great job that you guys are doing.
Yes, if I do that, then it cancels
for
you.
many, many, many more years. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roxana. So I'm older than Glenn. How about that? Now, Clarence, what was Clarence?
Yes, 27.
27.
Wow.
I'm going to give a shout out to Clarence because he is a third generation past Rotary Club president. His grandfather actually met the founder of Rotary, Paul Harris. So I think that's awesome. And when Roxana becomes president of our club, she'll be a third generation past president. Her grandfather founded the Reynosa, Mexico Club, I think 81 years ago. That's awesome. So we have some Rotary legacies in our club, which is pretty exciting. All right, now let me go through our business. One, there's still an opportunity to get pecans from Fred. Text him, and he will take care of it. How many boxes do we have left, Fred? I'm sorry, you'll sleep in your mouth. So we need 10 members to go get a box from them. And honestly, if you post it on Facebook, your friends will buy. I just had actually a fellow Rotarian, Randy White, he just picked up 40 bags from me yesterday, which is what, a box and a half. So just let people know and you're gonna get all of them. I was talking with the president of the Plano East Rotary, Lisa Bloomer. She said her dad, who's a past district governor, got a bunch of pecans by Fred, so she's overloaded with pecans. So she just needed to tie. She's like, Biederdorfer gave him all these pecans.
That was Donna's fault.
So that's awesome. And my kind of point in that is fellow Rotarians support us. We have been selling pecans for about 30 years. They know we're doing it to help Plano High School students. So if you know other Rotarians, I mean, they'll do it, and then your friends will do it. I know Jen Schertzer, I think she sold out her box in like a week when she posted it on Facebook. So jump on it. Yes, sir.
For those that are here, if you want, because I have my little credit card thingy, Bobby, so you can also charge it.
Oh, thanks, Ben.
And we all know what a credit card thingy Bobby is. If you don't, Google it.
I want to know what comes up.
Thingy Bobby, no kidding. Now, really important. We have our holiday party this Sunday. So if you haven't registered, sign up. I think last time I heard we have 45 people RSVP. Gary says his house will hold 150. Seriously, he has an entertaining house. I remember it was last year, a couple years ago. I'm like, dude, what do you have this house for? He's like, we do a lot of entertaining. It's like, well, you need to do it for the club. So he stepped up. So it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty nice house, a large patio, and he's got and I think he was telling me they have another party this month where they're expecting 90 people. I don't know if he's on this call or not. So where there's lots of room, indoors and outdoor. I know he and other people are working on it. So sign up if you're not. It'll be a good opportunity for us to see each other. And honestly, I hate to bring a little downer in there, with this Omicron coming up, let's meet quick before things change. They haven't said it's in America yet, but it's not if, it's when. Right. So we got 4 days to get kind of like what we did for the June party. We were able to get together and then Delta came. So hey, the Lord has protected us here. And then also the deadline for PEPN nominations is December 3rd. So our election is next week, right? So if you know somebody or you want to be our president nominee, which the president nominee is president a year and a half from now, or the president-elect, which is the president in 7 months from now, put your name in the hat. We need you to do that. Our club needs your leadership. And the nice thing about it is we have 24 committee chairs in our club. So you're not doing everything. I really do nothing. Everybody else does everything. And so that's what's awesome about our club. We have a lot of great club members that are active, passionate, help each other. So when you're president, you're not out there doing everything by yourself, because we all have a life. You can't do that. So please, you got till December 3rd, which is like 3-4 days, to submit your name in or somebody that you think would do a great job. Now, I've got 4 minutes, so let's go through what we did. On November 20th, we actually had 3 service projects in one day. Busy day. We had the Avenue K cleanup that Glenn runs. We have our POWS orientation. POWS is Plano Overnight Warming Station that Courtney Head, she runs. We had people go through that. Then we also had our Tappy Guide volunteer workshop that Pressure runs. The Tappy Guide is our ability to help. It's our ability. It gives us the opportunity of helping those with disability remotely. So if you have a heart for those with disability or with the homeless for the overnight warming station, we're still doing training and orientations. Those are ongoing supports. And then of course, every other month, we've been doing this for 5 years, Glenn, for the Avenue K. So those are great projects to do. So now let's talk about what's coming up over the next, 30 days before Christmas. Well, sell pecans, that's key. We need to we got to sell out what we have for us to make that net 3,500. And so Fred said we have 10 more left, so we need to sell more. A project that Jen Scherzer set up is with BedStart, and we did it last month, or November, and we're going to be doing it again in December. We basically have 10 volunteers. You sign up and you help deliver furniture to needy families. And BedStart's been doing that for years, and it's great that we get to be a part of it. Because once again, you get to actually meet and interact with the people that you're helping. Really powerful. Then we have all in one week that Catherine and James. Catherine's here in person. James is on Zoom. Our partnership with the school district where we are working the food pantry. And so they're at the 3 campuses. I screwed that up. It's not Rallis. It's Rallis Natatorium, which is really next to Williams High School, not Rallis and MS. But Armstrong Middle School and Bowman Middle School. So as you guys know, you can either hit the bit.ly links, go to our website, sign up for those. Catherine, how do we do on those attendance? I thought I heard we were kind of running low.
Fortunately, the ones at Rallison and at Bowman are a little bit different. We're part of a collaborative effort, and so we do have volunteers for those. The Armstrong ones, where it's just us helping the staff at Armstrong. So
Armstrong is a real priority. Because if I remember right, Armstrong is collaborative with North Texas Food Bank, and Rallison and Bowman are through Minnie's Food Pantry. So with that said, if you guys always give a shout out and a thanks to both those food pantries, because they do so much for our community. Now, I also want to talk about Jen Scherzer actually came up with a tiny fundraiser for us. If anybody likes Heritage Farmstead, if we work their concessions, we get the tip jar. And it's usually about $100. And I think we need 6 people. So $100 is $100, and you get a free ticket and a t-shirt from the farmstead as well. So sign up for that. I think she needs a minimum of 6 people. So if we don't have 6, we don't get the full tip jar. And so she's done it before. If you have any questions, talk to Jen. And so she actually came up with this idea because she wrote it. I don't know if you guys saw the story she wrote that got published. Plano Star Courier did a shout out about our pecan fundraiser for scholarships. Plano Magazine published an article about our scholarship program as well, and that's all because of Jen. Every week, she writes a journalist quality article about our service projects, and we do so many. She's got a lot of content. And the really good ones, she actually sends out to the different media outlets. Well, because of that, I was telling her about the fact that we run the chance of not qualifying for a district grant next year, so we need more fundraisers. So she's having this fundraiser. Every little bit counts. $100 is $100. So yay, Jen, we need 6 people to volunteer for it on December 18th. And then lastly, we have our project where we are helping the BSA Scouts find adult volunteers. It's actually our friend Nancy Humphrey, who's one of the trustees. She's chair of this committee on BSA Scouts. So if you know somebody that has a heart for Scouts and they want to help, they don't have a kid in it. This is adult volunteering. Sign up on that and Nancy will give you a call. So with that, I am now going to turn it over to our illustrious guy who just had a funeral, he told us. James Thomas is going to introduce our speaker. Take it away, James.
Thank you, Alex. I have the opportunity to introduce Jess Thompson. And I've never actually met her. I've heard about her for quite some time, and perhaps I've seen her, but I've just never had the golden opportunity to meet Jess Thompson. So I want to share a little about her, and you can read this if you will, but certainly she served in the Texas 416th District Court, and she's been with the District Court since 2017. And this particular court focuses primarily on family, civil, and felony cases. I'm surprised that my family hadn't been there quite often, knowing my family. However, with that being said, she grew up in Plano. Not only that, she attended Hullabaloo, Connect, Texas A&M. So we love those Aggies, forever amen. She received her JD from South Texas College in Law in 1998. And she served on numerous positions in state and local boards. So we appreciate that. And she's focused on a lot of volunteering experiences. And I do appreciate that too, because it's what we do as far as Rotarians. I do want to also mention the fact that something that means an awful lot to me, she's focused on negating or mitigating some of the backlogs that we have in our court cases. Not only that, she's also focused on negating some of the drug issues, and she's come up with some ideas to mitigate some of those drug scenarios. So I want to thank you, Judge Thompson, for being a part of this and for sharing your mission and your life with us. And now I think I've had far too long to speak. You may go for it now. So thank you.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that. I want to mention too, I happen to be a second generation Rotarian president as well. My dad was also a member of the Plano Metro Rotary Club, and I'm still a member and a past president there. So I'm happy to count this as a makeup. So let me see, Alex, can I share my screen?
Joanne, does she have, can you give her photos?
Let me try it.
I don't know how to do that. Sorry.
Okay, well, while y'all enable that, because I want to be able to show you some of this information, I'll go ahead and get started and give you a little bit more information. So as James said, my court is the 416th District Court. We do civil, family, and criminal cases. About 70% of my docket is criminal cases. It's the bulk of what I do. And the other 30% is kind of evenly divided between family and civil cases. I am a felony level court. So we tell people that's kind of the more serious stuff is what we encounter. As an example, you could have 2 DWIs and you'll still be in misdemeanor court. If you get to your 3rd DWI, that's when you get to us. And we're the courts that handle the more serious things are manslaughter, murder, capital murders, those kinds of cases. But the biggest portion of what we get are drug possession cases. And so we had a gap. We have lots of specialty courts in Collin County. There's actually 5, and I want to make sure and mention all of those. Mine is the only one right now that focuses on adult felony drug possession or DWI charges. We have Judge John Roach does a veterans court. He does it for Collin County, and then he also does the same service in several of our surrounding counties. So he focuses on veterans that suffer from PTSD issues that led to their introduction into our criminal justice system. We have Judge Angie Tucker of the 199th. She does one solely focused on moms that are in our CPS system and trying to get them back to being in a position where then they can have custody of their kiddos again. We have Judge Cindy Wheelis, who handles things regarding our juveniles, does a lot of work with juvenile girls or girls that have found themselves in human trafficking situations. So she has a specialty court involving that. Mine does drug court, and then we have a misdemeanor DWI court that's run by David Waddell and Judge Corinne Mason together. So there's 5 of us doing similar but a little bit specialized things here in Collin County. So let me go ahead. Looks like I can share now. And all right, can y'all see that? Yeah. Okay, good, good. So covered that part. Let me move on here to next. So a specialty court functions inside of our judicial system, but a little bit outside of it. And it's a team approach. We'll talk about it more specifically, but we try to identify folks that are in our system that don't really have a criminal problem. They have something else. So it's either a substance abuse problem. Almost 100% of them have undiagnosed mental health problems, and they don't realize the drugs that they're using are actually to self-medicate. They don't know that's what they're doing, but that's what they're doing. And so we try to find high risk but high need people that have lots of possession charges, or if we don't take anybody that has a violent charge, so no family violence, no charges with anything with a weapon, but sometimes they might have theft charges because, as you all know, a lot of times folks steal things to then sell to buy drugs. And so it's really an underlying symptom of their drug addiction. Most of the folks that we identify, in fact, I can say probably 100%, have never had access to healthcare, which is why most of their mental health problems are undiagnosed. So we take a team approach to this to evaluate people. Like I said, these are folks that are at the felony level. So they're facing some pretty serious charges, and they enter into this system with our team. So it involves me, my whole staff, which is the court coordinator, the court reporter, and the bailiff. We all help manage it. We also have the participation of a probation officer, one of the assistant district attorneys. We have a defense attorney that agrees to work with us for an extremely reduced rate. He handles a lot of the ancillary issues that come along with these folks. So if they need an occupational driver's license to be able to still get to work, then he's the one that will handle the paperwork and help do that. He also helps if they have charges in other counties or maybe a misdemeanor someplace, or a lot of them have unpaid parking tickets that are then hindering them from being able to get their driver's license back. So he can help with a lot of that. And then we work very closely with treatment providers. Our largest provider is LifePath here in Collin County that a lot of you all may have experience with. And so we work with LifePath to get them mental health services. They go to group, so they might do intensive outpatient, and inpatient even is an option for us. And then we work with Samaritan Inn and quite a few sober living houses to then try to help the folks that don't have housing otherwise. So we kind of covered this a little bit, but it's folks that have some issue other than just crime. So obviously the fact that they've been charged with a felony is a big piece of this, and we can't ignore that or forget about it. But we really are looking for people that we can help rehabilitate, get them back on the right path, get them back to being productive members of society, instead of just sending them to prison. Now, what I tell folks when we do the plea with them, so what most of them are doing is pleading to deferred adjudication, and they have to successfully complete the drug court. And if they do, then they have an extended probation period after that, and they're doing that in lieu of a prison sentence. And before they plead in, I tell all of them, you know, you understand that drug court is actually harder than straight probation. We'll get into some more specifics, but we micromanage these folks. We are all in their business constantly. They have to come see me weekly. We do multiple drug tests every week. So it's a lot more. So we find that people either really succeed by the end of the program, or they kind of flame out really, really early, and it's obvious that they aren't ready to be accepting the help and the treatment that they need. And that's really what our focus is try to catch people at that right time. So many of them tell us that, you know, I was sitting in the Collin County Jail and I was at rock bottom and, you know, needed to turn my life around. This was the, you know, multiple arrests for me, or my kids had been taken away and I got arrested again. And so I knew I wasn't going to see them again. And they'd finally hit rock bottom and realized they needed to do something to address usually the substance abuse issues that they have. And that's where we try to get them when they're really ready to accept the help and do the work to try to overcome that. I'm sure all of us have somebody in our family or close friends that suffer from addiction. And you know, it is a hard process to overcome. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication. And there's a lot of mishaps. We talk about relapse being a part of recovery. And so we deal with those. So talk a little bit about here. It's to reduce the relapse. Like I said, it's part of recovery. So we expect it to happen. We try to reduce the criminal recidivism, which is the reoffender rate. And we'll talk later about how much more successful a program like this is nationally at reducing the reoffender rate. So we do risk assessments. We do significant amount of judicial interaction and monitoring, and then treatment and rehab. It's a multifaceted approach. And we're right there with them every step of the way to try to help them. We have counseling, education, and other services. I've talked about some of these. A lot of them, you know, have basic problems. They don't have a driver's license. They don't know when the last time they saw their Social Security card was. And so they need help getting that back. A lot of them are homeless at some point or another before they get to us, or have been in and out of the jail so often that they really haven't had a permanent place to live. And so they've lost all of their belongings and all their identifying information. So they might need a birth certificate to help get their driver's license or their Social Security back. So we try to help with all of those things. A lot of them, in fact, most of them haven't held a steady job. That's a big part of it. We kind of talk about when they get to us, they have to get what we kind of call a real job, if you will. A lot of them are used to what we consider kind of a side hustle. So they work a little odd job, or they do a little pickup work or a little yard work for somebody to get just enough money to buy their next round of drugs. Then they do drugs for a while. And then once they're out of couch surfing or sponging off their friends, or they run out of the drugs they have, then they go back to do their little side hustle job again. And that's the system that they're in. So they come to us and they'll go, no, I have a job. We're like, nope, we're not doing that kind of job. We've got to break your people, places, and things, all of your old habits, all of the things in ways that you were used to operating your life is what got you into this situation. And so we're going to get you into steady employment where you have a paycheck and you don't instantly have that cash on hand where you run right out and buy your drugs again. And then you go back and do the same little kind of part-time job. So this is a little bit of how you make it through that process. We rely on either the state or the defense attorney to identify that they think their client might be a good fit. The DA does have to approve. So if the DA doesn't approve, ultimately the decision is up to the judge. This is part of the menu of options that's available to us. It might be just straight probation. It might be deferred. It could be prison time. Drug court is another option we're trying to put kind of on the buffet of choices that the judges have in Collin County when dealing with folks that they're getting a sense from talking to the defense and the state. Like I said, that these are not career criminals. They're just people that have not had good opportunities and made a lot of bad choices in their life as a result of that, but we want to try to help them. So then it comes to our probation officer who does an assessment on them. LifePath does a substance abuse evaluation to try to see where they are in that journey. And then it comes to the whole group that staffs it and decides whether we think this is a good fit or not. And then they do the plea into the program, and then they're with us for anywhere from a year to 2 years, depending on how long it takes them and how many hiccups they have along the way. They go through 3 phases in the program. So the first phase is kind of that assessment, the very early stages. This is the longest phase. So I said I see them weekly. In phase 1, they come to court every single week. My staff we all give up our lunchtime and we do drug court. We'll talk a little bit later about how busy Collin County is. And especially now with COVID. So everybody works through lunch to try to fit in the time to accommodate drug court. So Thursdays are busy for us, but it is definitely worth it. So during phase 1, they come and see us every single week. and we do follow-ups. We monitor their drug testing, things like that. And have they gotten a job? How are they doing in their sober living house? Or if they live on their own, we talk about all those things. They also check in weekly with the probation officer as well. Then we get into phase 2. Once they appear to have sort of stabilized themselves in enough of a way, they have a steady place to live, they have a steady job. They may still have transportation issues. That's kind of an ongoing problem for a lot of our folks. But once they've gotten a little bit more stable, they're not calling in late for all of their drug tests. They're not having tests where they're positive still for drugs and things like that. Then we move them to phase 2. Then they come to court every other week. Same amount of drug testing, same amount of requirements. We require them to go to a 12-step program in addition to all of this. So they have all of those requirements, but they get to come to court a little bit less. They get a little bit more autonomy back. We give them a little bit more rope. Some of them, unfortunately, hang themselves with it, but most of them, we really try to not move them forward in the program until they look like they're ready. And then by phase 3, then we're really talking about reintegration. Are they out of the sober living? Do they have a permanent place to live? My Rotary has helped a couple of our members. We work with the Samaritan's Inn to do their transitional housing and provide all the furniture and things for them, if y'all are familiar with that program. And so my Rotary has helped a couple of our people who were ready for an apartment and actually managed to get together the money for the down payments and things like that, but had not a stick of furniture because they're coming out of either Samaritan Inn or sober living houses. And so our group has helped them furnish their apartment and have them ready to go to try to reintegrate them. And then they graduate once we finally think they're ready. So there are, throughout the process of this, they may move up and down amongst these phases, depending on if they relapse, if they have to go back to inpatient treatment. And then once they're done and they've graduated from drug court, they do still stay on probation. That was a cautionary tale we've learned nationally from other programs when we go to trainings. It's even happened here in Collin County with our other specialty courts. Unfortunately, when people relapse at the end of a program like this, they will go back to using their drug of choice at the same level that they used before they entered the system, and their body now cannot handle it, and they have accidental overdose deaths. And so we try to avoid that by not saying you're completely free. You've been under this significant amount of scrutiny for 1.5 years. Now go be free. Nobody's watching you. We leave them on then just straight probation where they have monthly check-ins, they have some random drug testing, and we do that for a little bit longer to try to make sure they're completely reintegrated. I've kind of talked about all of this, but they're all things that we try to help with. We have a need for sure for people that will hire our folks with the backgrounds that we have. So we've had some success with some of our people in a couple of different businesses that have now seen they're actually really great people to take a chance on because nobody's ever taken a chance on them. So they're wildly thankful for the opportunity they have for employment. And to be honest, I'm babysitting the heck out of them. So if you want an employee that's going to be reliable, I know if they're not going to work and I know if they're coming late. You know, tardiness is a big deal for us. That could result in a sanction because we're trying to teach people that aren't used to having to be somewhere on time, how important it is to be on time to keep a job and hold a job. So if you guys know anybody that would be willing to take a chance on some of our folks, I can assure you they are fantastic employees. We operate off of sanctions and incentives. So when good things happen, you get rewarded. When you stay the course, when you do what we're expecting of you, then we have gift cards and prizes and rewards and lots of verbal accolades and attention and certificates and things that come for them. If you don't do what you're expected of, then we have sanctions, but we make sure that they're immediate and consistent so that one person comes in and tests late for a drug test, they don't get treated differently than somebody else. These sanctions also progress. So the first thing you might have to do is do 3 hours of community service if you call in late or don't show up for a test. If you do it again, then it might be up to 6 hours of community service. Our staff came up, we had a guy that he was doing everything great, but he could not manage to do anything on time. So he's late for everything. So we came up with what we now call the Bart Simpson sanction. For those of you that grew up with Bart Simpson, how he's writing on the chalkboard at the beginning of the show, well, they have to write out 400 times. It takes them about 3 hours. I will be on time. I will not come late. And I'll tell you what, it only takes doing that about one time. And then suddenly we found out that breaks their tardiness habit. So, I mean, skip down here, I want to show you, make sure we see some of the recidivism rates that I was talking about. There is a significant reduction in reoffending once somebody has been through a program like this. I can tell you, we've been doing it almost 4 years now, and we have a single, we haven't had a single past participant out of my court that has reoffended. So we've been really successful. Now we've had a couple people that haven't made it all the way through the program, and they just weren't quite ready. But for those that have made it all the way through and graduated, we've been really successful. And I need to update this for the rest of our group. But as you can see, we have over an 80% success rate here in Collin County, where the national average for people to reoffend that don't go through a program like this is the exact opposite. The reoffender rate can be up as high as 80%. I wanted to just touch on this really quickly, and then I know we're running out of time. One of the biggest misconceptions that people have is about marijuana. And I want to point this out to everybody. This is not our 1960s marijuana. That had 3 to 4% THC levels. If you can see in this even stopped measuring. I need to find an updated chart, but this one stopped in 2011. And you can see the blue line at the bottom is the non-psychoactive ingredient. The psychoactive ingredient is going through the roof. So where we used to have 3 and 4% THC in marijuana, we're now up to 25 to 32% in straight marijuana that people smoke. If you get into wax or dabbing or any of the other things that they're doing that are distillates, then you're up in the 80% THC. So think about that. When people say it's no big deal, what's the big deal? It's just marijuana. It's not addictive. They're thinking about 3% THC. They're not thinking about 80% THC. And so you've got to really educate your kids and your friends that, look, I didn't consider, marijuana at that 3% level really isn't much different than alcohol or some of the other things that people do, but that's not what this is. I've got one more here to show you. So if you can see the blue line versus the red line, this is the CBD is that sort of non-psychoactive portion of it. And so CBD is really big, and people think I can do CBD that has THC in it. But what's happening is in the marijuana that people are using, that CBD level is decreasing significantly, and that THC level is going through the roof. The other really big cautionary tale that you need to really warn folks about is they are now lacing marijuana with fentanyl. And I don't think I have to tell any of y'all how dangerous fentanyl can be. It's the cartels are doing it to make it more addictive. So that's the other big misnomer, is that marijuana is not addictive, and it absolutely 100% is with the THC levels that we see. And then the fact now that a much, much more significant percentage of the marijuana that we're seeing is actually already laced with the fentanyl. So people need to be careful. I try to talk about this at the end because it used to be most of the folks that we encounter were, they end up to us because they're using meth, but 100% of my drug court participants, when we talk about what they started using, they started with marijuana. So this idea that it's a non-addictive substance that's no big deal and it's no different than drinking alcohol is something I'm kind of on a one-woman crusade to try to educate people about and to talk to your kids about and make sure your friends and their kids know and be aware that a lot of times when kids are vaping, they're vaping marijuana products. And when they vape it at the distillation that they have to get into that vape pen, it's at that maximum THC range. So you need to be really careful with that. So that's kind of the end of what I had. I wanted to save just a minute or two for questions if we have it, but I think we've only got about 60 seconds. So.
Well, we could do at least one question. Do we have a question in the house? I have a question.
Alex, it's difficult to hear you. I didn't hear you, but Jess Thompson, that is my life. You just equated the last part of my life. Certainly the first part being the homeless liaison and all of that. So finding places and residents and babysitting and all of that. But the other part has been my life for years, and that's THC. The vast majority of the students that we currently send to our juvenile justice facility in McKinney it's all about drug charges. And those specified drug charges, which used to be misbehavior, now it's all THC because most of that THC is a felony scenario. So all of our kids up there, they've never been in any trouble at all, but THC they were found vaping on campus. So That is my life. So thank you for all that you do. You are an angel, and thank your entire group and that committee for what you guys are wonderful at doing.
Well, I'm super proud of my staff because, like I said, this is something I'm passionate about, but they have also agreed to give up their free time to do this. And they do it every single week, week in, week out for several years now, because we can only handle a small number of people. We only have about 20 people in the program at a time because of the attention it takes and unfortunately the limited resources that we have. But if we could spend more of our court time and programs on programs like this and giving this kind of assistance to people, I think we would see a significant reduction in our prison population, because so many of them that we encounter are just people making bad choices through mental health problems and substance abuse problems. We need to treat those problems and see about the change that we can make.
Judge Thompson, this is Joanna. Are you still seeing CPS parents through your court, the drug court system, or did they start another program for that?
Right. So my court doesn't handle CPS, but Angie Tucker, who is in the 199th, Judge Tucker has a CPS specific specialty court program as well.
Any other questions? I think we still have probably about one more question. Anybody on Zoom?
Julie's got her hand up.
Go for it, Julie.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you so much for that. I had to take a call, so I missed the beginning of it, but I came in when you were talking about the people that are looking for employees. And I know the hospitality industry is really hurting for employees in Plano right now. How would someone go about letting you know that they were interested?
I'm happy to have Alex share my information with anybody. And if you've got someplace that you know is hiring that we can point them, a lot of our folks are in food service and have been, and I would love to be able to have an opportunity to say, we know this is a place that is going to be sympathetic to their situation, understand where they are. We also need them to be flexible. And so food service and hospitality is a good place for them to have the flexibility to work a schedule where they can still come to us and work their services.
Okay, great. I'll pass that along.
Thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Thompson, I don't think I've ever called you this. I've had the pleasure of knowing Andrea for probably about 15 years before she was a judge, so I need to give you the respect. As you can tell, Andrea is an amazing woman. She does a lot for the community, like forever, and you see how passionate she is about this project, and that's what I wanted her to talk about. Originally, she's like, well, I'll bring the other judges like she did last year. I'm like, no, we want to hear you. Because I've heard her speak at other Rotary clubs about the other things she does. And she's just an amazing judge. And so I'm honored for her to be a friend. We all are honored for her to be a fellow Rotarian. And she does belong to a great club, Plano Metro Rotary, and they do a lot of good things. So thank you. What we do for our speakers is we're going to make a donation in your name to the Rotary End Polio Now program, $10. And because of the Bill and Melinda Gates donation, it will be matched and tripled from $10 to $30. And as you know, Judge Thompson, that's used to fight polio globally. And Rotary is using the infrastructure for polio to actually fight COVID. And as we see, COVID is never ending. And so our polio contributions are just a gift that keeps on giving. And I do want to thank you for speaking about this. Her and I are trying to figure out how we can turn her drug court into a service project, actually a service project with multiple Rotary clubs that obviously can expand to Collin County, because that's who she's working with. Because as you can tell, there's a need, there's a huge need, and it's awesome to have a judge that's so passionate about taking care of people, not just locking them up, but trying to keep them out, being amazing citizens. So I can't say any more about her. For those that don't know, she wanted to be here in person, but what she's working on went to trial.
Yeah, I'm actually got to hop off here in just a second. Our jury's going to start up again at 1 o'clock. So I got to get back to them so they're not waiting on us. Thank you all so much for having me though.
But she did not. So we really appreciate it, Judge Thompson, and keep on taking care of our people in your trial today, in your court.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Now, let me get this all going so we can, oh, that was really, I don't know about you guys, but I just love hearing about what she's doing for our citizens. There we go. So, what I want to do now, if I could get everything to work, is we're going to talk about next week. Next week, very, very, very important meeting. Show up. We need everybody to vote. It's a quorum vote, but we want a large quorum. We have 67 members in our club. It would be great if we had at least 50% show up, which would be cool. I think now we're probably, what, 20 total? A little over 20, so it's about a third of our membership. This is our annual election, and this is really important. One, we're going to be electing our president-elect. That will start July 1st. So that's super critical. But just as critical, we're also electing our president nominee, which will start 2023, July 1st, 2023. And the advantage of, actually, one, our Constitution actually required us to elect our president nominee. We just did not do that last year, and I'll take fault for that. I misread the Constitution. I was thinking it was focused on the president-elect. So if we do, when we do elect our president nominee, it'll give somebody a year and a half to kind of shadow what's going on, like the last 6 months of my presidency, then the entire year of the next presidency. And they also have the option of going to president-elect training, because we will pay for that, which is a great, I did that, and you can never do enough training. And so I do encourage people, you have till December 3rd to nominate yourself or nominate somebody for president nominee, and then our president-elect will be the president in July. And once again, there is so much training, so much support, not only from our club, but Rotary has very, very, very extensive training for president-elects. I mean, it's an entire week-long seminar or training that we pay for. You get lots of resources, you get to meet other presidents, so you're not left out there. So our club is so amazing, we need to have our leadership set to go forward with it. So that's my pitch for next week. Whether you nominate or not, you definitely need to show so you can vote. And then I am going to ask Catherine to lead us in the four-way test.
The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. 1, is it true? 2, is it fair to all concerned? 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Rotary! Woo! Hey, everybody, thank you very much. And everybody have a great day. Bye.